o'clock. I'd like to call the meeting to order of the Goffstown Select Board, February 12th. First order of business, as always, would be the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you all join me? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time I'll accept the motion for acceptance and correction of minutes from 1/22/24 and 2/3/24.
But before you do that, can I ask you to do a roll call?
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought Kelly's on the phone. We'll do a roll call. Kelly?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes,
Yes?
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion, we do the 1/22/24 public and non-public minutes of the meeting with corrections if need be.
Second.
Motion by Mark, seconded by Collis. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained?
Aye.
Motion passes. I'm sorry, roll call, I gotta remember. Go ahead, Kelly.
Yes.
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 Next.
I'll make a motion, we do the February 3rd, 24 public minutes with corrections if need be.
Second.
The motion.
Motion by Mark, seconded by Jim. That's a roll call vote. Any discussion, first of all? Seeing none. Kelly?
Yes.
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 I have no announcement at this time. Derek, you wanna start?
Sure. At tab 6, you have the town administrator's report. You have your committee meeting schedule for the next 2 weeks. Tomorrow night at 6 p.m., the sewer commission will be in this room.
Yep.
And at 6:30 p.m., historic district commission will be meeting at Grassmere Town Hall.
Yep.
Just a reminder that next Monday is a town holiday, President's Day, so town hall, public library, and DPW offices will be closed. The transfer station is closed this coming Saturday, but curbside collection will remain on schedule next week. Wednesday of next week, 6:30 p.m., library trustees at the public library.
I'll be there.
At 7 p.m., Parks and Rec Commission at the Parks and Rec Center.
I should be there.
And on Thursday at 7 p.m., the planning board will be in this room.
Yes.
At your next page, you have your consent agenda. You have employee status reports for a GTV per diem studio tech. This is a new hire. A DPW full-time truck driver. This is successful completion of probationary period. A DPW part-time temp truck driver discharge. You have a fire at the fire department, call firefighter paramedic resignation. A per diem paramedic new hire. And 2 full-time firefighter new hires. You have a notice of appointment for a police officer that needs a signature of the entire board. Rights to inter for West Lawn Cemetery, section 1991, lot 36, and Shirley Hill Cemetery, section 3, lot 41. And then an event permit for the Pinardville Lion Club Easter egg hunt on March 23rd at Roy Park.
Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
I have one question on the truck drivers. Do we have any more of those that need to go for their test?
Currently, we have one truck driver and a mechanics assistant who do not have their CDL, but they haven't reached their 6-month deadline yet. Everybody that needed to get one has now got one. We had this one probation period that had been extended for one employee, but now that he's got it, he's out of probation.
That's what this
so
one is?
That was that one.
Excellent, great.
And there were 2 items I forgot that we added today. There was a $20 deposit into the Grassmere Town Hall Restoration Fund. And then we also need the signature of the chair or the vice chair on a purchase and sales agreement for a property on Henry Bridge Road.
FYI, it's already been signed.
Okay, great, thank you.
Can we go back to the meeting schedule, please? I overlooked something. On the second Thursday, I believe that's the 22nd, right? 22nd, I'll be out of town that day.
Planning board,
Yes.
I'll take that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Yep.
Make sure the information is
Yep.
sent to you.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Kelly?
Yes.
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 Yes,
Yes.
All right, thank you. At your next page, let me catch up here. You have the assessor's recommendations. Veterans Tax Credit, it recommends approval for map 4 lot 9, map 2 lot 55-2-1, map 9 lot 36-7-19. You have an all veterans tax credit, approval recommended for map 8 lot 59 and map 9 lot 4-33. And then tax credit for service-connected total disability, approval recommended for map 4 lot 9.
motion to approve the assessor's recommendations as presented.
Second?
Motion by Collis, seconded by Jim. Roll call vote. Kelly?
Yes.
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 Yes,
Yes.
Motion passes.
On your next page, you have a letter from the town assessor bringing to you House Bill 1106. This redefines the definition of net assets used for elderly exemptions. Basically, it would preclude investment funds not being cashed in or withdrawn except for any disbursement from. He would like to speak in opposition, or he'd like to testify in opposition on this bill. The hearing is scheduled for tomorrow. It's got everything here in his memo, and you also have a copy of the law. And he's also recommending that the select board oppose this change to the definition of net assets for the elderly exemption.
He's right here to speak to it. Anybody?
There's gotta be a reason why, but we don't know
Yeah,
why.
exactly.
Oh, it's all in the letter that he's
Yeah.
provided you. Really, what it is right now, when he looks at the assets, the asset limits that the town have voted on, he has to look at investments that people have in the, in their portfolio.
Yep.
This would completely preclude that. So you might have somebody that is able to keep those investments completely separate and
Isolated.
isolated, and they would no longer, so they could have this could severely increase the number of elderly exemptions we had. It really, you're really going to, what do you have for cash in the bank?
And unfairly too, because all the wealthier retirees would take advantage of that, and they would benefit much more than you or I.
Yeah, so stocks, bonds, 401ks, IRA accounts, and bank CDs would be completely taken off the table for assets. Whereas right now, he does actually look at those because it's included in part of the definition.
That's helpful, thank you.
Anybody make a motion, or?
I'll make a motion that we go along with Scott's
Recommendation.
recommendation and
Propose the bill?
propose the bill, yeah.
Can I ask one more? Do you know if the municipal association has taken a position on this?
I can check, and I might not have an answer by the end of this meeting, but we can definitely get it. I do not know if they've taken a position on it. I don't believe this was even included in the legislative policy, anything about elderly exemption or veteran exemptions. So they may not have taken they're very limited on what they can take a position on, but I will look at that and see.
This is kind of similar to the interest and dividends
Yeah.
type of,
Yeah. I'm just wondering if we should take a position or not. What was the motion? I'm sorry, I missed it.
To be in favor of Scott.
Testifying.
Oppose it.
Testifying in opposition
Testifying
of.
in opposition.
Is that the same as him saying that the Goffstown Select Board is not in favor of this?
Yes, I would say that he would go up and say that the select board is not in favor of this bill as it is currently written, and then he would, because of his years of experience, provide more expert testimony.
something like, select board is authorizing me to speak.
Yeah, right, okay, yeah, all right. Just wanted to be clear.
I'll second the motion then.
I think at this time with tax revenues from the state being reduced a bit, I think it's time that this would really hurt more, again.
I don't know.
You're not thinking, what do you think? I mean,
Well,
we talk 100,000, 200,000, I don't know, that's what I would have liked to have a little bit of a clue on that. But I certainly don't want to do anything that's going to reduce more funds.
That's for sure.
So we have a motion on the floor, is there any further discussion? Motion was by Mark, it was seconded by Jim, let's go for a vote. Kelly?
yes,
Mark?
Yes.
Mia, yes.
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 Public comment period.
Yep. It is 6:10, and at 6:10 we have posted for public comment. Is there anybody here for public comment? Seeing none, we'll close the public comment and continue on. We'll bring up the, how many, you got any much more?
I only have a few more, but they're, none are very lengthy.
All right, we'll bring up the fire chief.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm just up quickly tonight to, I sent a letter to the board along with a memorandum of understanding from the U.S. Department of Defense. If you recall, back in November, we told you about a program called SkillBridge.
Yep.
So we were notified that they'd like to partner with us. So I've attached a memorandum of understanding for the chairman to actually sign electronically, so I'll send it to her via mail. But this is a great program for us. What it does is it takes military people that are getting out of the service, and they partner with local communities, they build up skill sets. They pay for the individual for all the hours, the benefits, they're completely covered by the Department of Defense. And as you know, the state has started a couple programs where they'll pay for EMT. So essentially, we're gonna gain an individual who, all his training's paid by DOD and EMT. So within a short few months, we'll have a certified firefighter EMT.
And you only can only have one?
Actually, we're gonna have two, a second one maybe this fall. So it's, I think it's a great program. I think it's, thinking out of the box. Deputy Selleck's done a great job with this program. And then overall, I figured while I was up here too, I'd keep you up to date. As you saw, we have 2 full-time firefighters that we just hired. I did a conditional on another one today, so that pretty much brings us down to 1 or 2 vacancies there. We've hired, I've got 7 per diems. We're up to 7 call firefighters. So the per diems have gone through the system. They're now starting to work part-time. And we're also working with St. A's and recruiting some of the students up there. They're currently going through an EMT class, and we'll put them on after that. So we've
The
come,
more we get out of St. A's, the more false alarms we'll get maybe, huh?
so we've come a long way in a few months, and I'm very much encouraged by that.
Excellent.
That's great.
Just a question, does this program pay for them all their training, and then we make a decision to hire them? Or-
Yes,
And if they don't flunk the training, then we still, we don't have to take them anyways, do we?
right.
Right, okay.
And they go through the same probation with us and everything.
Okay.
Now, is that just for fire?
Actually, it isn't. You could do it townwide if you wanted to, and the MOU alludes to that. We made sure it says the town too. So, you know, if another department wants to look into it, let me know and we'll tell them about it.
You should put that out, make sure everybody knows.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes. When the chief put in the letter last fall, he made sure to include all departments, so.
Good. Anything else?
Nope, I think that's it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Steve?
Thanks.
So if I could just get a motion to authorize the chair to sign the memorandum of understanding?
So moved.
Good.
Motion by Jim, seconded by Mark. Roll call, Kelly?
yes,
Yes.
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 Next up would be Public Works.
Hello again. Okay, so first up, it's a solid waste agreement. Actually, I don't have the same copy of the packet, so I believe.
First up is the solid waste disposal.
Yes, under
Okay.
tab number 5.
Okay, so as you may.
4, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
tab 4.
Wait a minute.
As you may remember, we've got we have long-term contracts with Casella for both our municipal solid waste or trash and our single-stream recycling. Our trash goes north to Bethlehem, New Hampshire currently to the landfill there, and our recycling goes south to Massachusetts to Charlestown to the recycling center. The solid waste contract is sort of a grandfathered artificially low rate because historically the town had brought waste to Merck facility in Maine. When that was closed, Casella said if you were willing to hike it all the way to Bethlehem, we'll give you a deal. We had since renewed that for a 10-year agreement. The first 7 years were locked in mutually, and then we're in right now our 1+1+1 option years. So if we wanted to continue with Casella, we could. The rate that they're projecting right now, it won't be set until the end of March, for 2024 would be $68.34 a ton, which is about a 5% increase from 2023. The problem with the Casella landfill, aside from the fact that it's 100 miles away, 200 round trip, is that right now they have no expansion permit approved from the state of New Hampshire, which means that they, at current rates, will run out of capacity at that landfill in early 2027. They cannot guarantee us a home for our waste after that. Kind of reading the tea leaves, we've known this was coming. They did get a one expansion a couple of years ago, which has kind of kicked the can a little bit, but I don't think we necessarily want to be the last of the communities taking waste there, because when it's time to jump somewhere else, it's going to be at a premium. So to the extent that it might be a little bit early, I think it's probably in the best interest of the town if we can lock up an option going forward. Waste Management is the other big landfill management firm in New Hampshire. They've got the turnkey landfill in Rochester. It's the only other publicly accepting landfill. Other than Carberry, which is way up near the Maine border, up North Country, even farther than Bethlehem. So the Waste Management landfill, they've offered to extend us for a long-term contract, so not just until 2027, but they actually said they could go out to 2031, which I think would be probably a prudent thing to do if we can lock that up now. There are some increases built in. They're not too much different than the 3 to 5 to 6% that we were experiencing with Casella, which was more of a BLS-based increase. They actually would tell us ahead of time what our rates would be, and I think it's the next to last page on the packet. I had included the proposal from Waste Management. In their proposal, the first year would get us to $72 a ton. Which wouldn't be a terrible increase from the $68.34 that we're about to go into for Casella. But of course, the main benefit is that we'd have that recipient for our material at least through 2031, if not longer. The other options right now that are a reasonable distance for us would be there's 2 waste-to-energy plants. Covanta manages one in Haverhill, Massachusetts. They quoted me $105.75 in the first year per ton. Although the waste-to-energy plant, in the long term and for the sake of the environment is probably a more sustainable way to get rid of waste, for everyone, I think that's probably a bigger jump than we'd, certainly be willing to handle under the current year's budget for sure. And they did not give me any guarantees about how long they could accept our waste. I'm not familiar with the intricacies of their air permit, but in theory, they could continue to operate as long as they're making money. Similarly to that, Wind Waste used to be known as the Wheelabrator facility in Pembroke, is another waste-to-energy plant. I reached out to them multiple times, did not get any responses, but I was able to find that the city of Concord, who's been a customer of Wheelabrator for quite some time, recently renewed. They have a 10-year agreement now. Their first year of that agreement is $90 a ton. I'm not sure if a new municipality coming in would get that same rate, but even that $90 a ton, of course, is quite a bit more than the 68 or the 72 for Casella Waste Management.
That's a burn plant though, there, right?
It is, yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Same with the Covanta as well. Waste Management's information did include a little bit of talk about waste to energy. It's not a full waste to energy plant. They don't burn the trash there, but they do collect and use the off gas of the active landfill to generate electricity. And they also send they heat their facilities, I think, with the waste gas. So, kind of bottom line, I guess, is that I'm recommending, even though it's a couple bucks more per ton in this first year, I'm recommending that we move over to Waste Management, haul our material to Rochester versus Bethlehem. We do save significantly per ton on the trucking cost for that. Not to mention in inclement weather, it's a little bit of a lot better a drive to go to Rochester versus up through the Notch and into the North Country.
You anticipate what, a couple hours each trip savings?
I think so, yeah. I think we figured it was going to be about an hour and 3/4 maybe savings on the round trip. Might even be longer than that, but certainly the gas mileage is not great on the big trucks anyway when they're fully loaded, and when you are heading up elevation the whole
I've
way
passed them a
loaded,
few times.
it's even worse of a hog as you go uphill.
Should be a considerable savings in fuel as well.
Yes, for sure.
Which will make up on the price, I see. So, sounds like a good one.
So your proposal is to go with Waste Management?
Yes, and if
Go ahead, Doug.
I was just going to say, okay, I've got a recommended motion to authorize me to enter a 7-year agreement with them. It's similar to what we'd have anywhere. If we want to go elsewhere, we can, but at least we'll lock in those rates for us, for them if we continue to bring material there.
And my only request is if you're gonna do a 7-year agreement, that we have that reviewed by town council prior to either the board or DPW director signing off on that.
Okay, so the motion wants to read after the approval, or with the approval of town council,
Yes.
authorize the DPW director to sign? That would be your motion?
Yes, yep.
I'll make that motion. I think the long term is important too.
Yep,
Locking it in for as long as we can, because they're filling up quick.
yep. I'll second Collis's motion.
A motion by Carl, seconded by Mark.
I just have probably a stupid
Further
question.
discussion?
Just a stupid question, and I think I know what the answer is, but would you define a tipping fee?
Tipping fee is just the portion as the truck is on the scale, so exactly how many tons of material we're paying. It used to be the old term of tipping a scale, so that's kind of carried over.
Thought it was something like that. Okay, thank you.
The motion's on the floor, we'll call for a roll call. Kelly?
yes,
Yes,
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Derek, I'll get you a copy of that tomorrow.
Thank you.
Let's see. Okay, next up, I believe we've got auction vehicles, surplus vehicles and equipment memo, should be the
Yep.
next item. Second time, I guess in the last 12 months, we're ready to put a bunch more vehicles out to auction, surplus vehicles. We've got 7 on the memo, 3 police utility surplus. Item 4 is a rebid of a Bobcat that we had put out on municipal bid previously on the last go-around in the fall. The first, the high bidder did not finalize the transaction with municipal bid. They reached out to us and asked if we wanted to offer to the second high bidder. They did, we did. They offered it and got no response from the second high bidder. At that point, they just recommended we cancel and rebid if we're looking to sell it again. So that one's up here for a second time. We just received the new bucket loader last year, so the 2008 John Deere is on there. We have two trailers, 2002 Spec Tech walking floor, and then I'm not sure what the year is. It's a Strick model trailer. The axles have been removed. Currently, it's being used as our TV electronics storage trailer. It's in pretty rough shape. If we get a real heavy snowstorm, we start to worry about the structural integrity of it. What we'd like to do is cycle out one of the old solid waste trailers and make that the new electronic storage trailer and get rid of this one that is a hazard. And then as we cycle through trailers in the future, we do have 5 active live floor trailers. So as we cycle through, we would try to keep the oldest trailer going out the door each time and make the off-going one the electronics trailer. That way we don't get stuck with a boat anchor that can't be moved. Let's see. The other piece I wanted to discuss in this section was the curbside truck. I know we've mentioned it a few times, or I've mentioned it a few times in the past. We did just receive our 4th curbside truck, our replacement curbside truck, week before last. It's in service now. It's on the line. I'd like to formally, I think this would be the time to do it, recommend that we hang on to this 4th truck so we have 2 backups. I think as you've seen in the action matrix throughout the year, almost every week there's at least one curbside truck on there. This week, as there have been a few times, there's 2 of the curbside trucks out of service right now. I think will behoove us both from a maintenance perspective and also as as the town continues to grow in the future, to have an extra truck if we needed to help. If there's a snow event and the trucks get behind schedule, once the plowing's done, somebody in theory could hop in the curbside truck and help out, or vice versa, and get those curbside barrels picked up in a timely way. And I think, as Selectman LeMay's kind of noted, sometimes because we only have the one spare and we can't stop the curbside pickups, we get backed into a situation where we're running a truck that really needs service, brakes squealing, or transmission shuttering or whatever.
Rear ends on the way out.
Exactly. But we have no choice. There's
Yeah, I know.
really not a good place we can go to say, hey, give us an automated curbside truck for 4 hours today or for 8 hours tomorrow. And I don't think I want to recommend losing my job by saying we ditch the curbside program, which I guess would be an option always. But I think to really do the job right, and if we're going to continue to hold on to trucks a little bit longer, I think it's a wise move to have a second spare. The other thing that this would do is allow us a little bit more level of comfort. We kind of have that question in the past about, are we replacing trucks too late or too soon? If we have the 4th, it takes a little bit of that pressure off, so I would feel very comfortable going to a 10-year or maybe even a 12-year replacement cycle. We're kind of all over the place now, anywhere between 8 and 11, 12 years. So I
We
think
we spoke about putting the new motor in that truck,
yes.
and my feelings were, if we were gonna spend $32,000 fixing that truck, we could push the CIP one that's in for next year, right? Push that out a year or so. That's my feelings. And I think that would be the appropriate thing to do. If you're putting $32,000 into the truck, we can take that one that's slated for next year, push it out a year, and get our money's worth out of it.
We certainly could. Right now, we've got a 2024, 2019, a 2016, and a 2012. The 12 was the one that was scheduled to go out the door, and that, as Pete mentioned, is getting the engine rebuild right now. As we are learning, it's almost 24 months from order to delivery. I think this last one is 23 months, just came in just before we had ordered it 2 years ago, rather, right after town meeting. So if we were to order one this year, it would be 2026 when we accept delivery. So we certainly we can make the justification to push. I don't know what your plan would be, for this year's CIP amount, since it's in the budget as proposed now. Or we could say 2 years is a relatively long time for these trucks anyway. Let's see what the trucks look like, when the new one would be ready. Maybe the 2016 versus the 2012 would be the, you know,
It's
the
my
way to
understanding though
go.
that the one you're putting the new motor in is gonna be the fourth line truck, is that correct?
It would be.
So that really shouldn't have, with a new motor in it, it really shouldn't have that many hours on it if it's the fourth line truck, so we could really, I wanna just make sure that we're making the right decision of putting $32,000 into a truck and then say, okay, we're getting rid of it in a year or two. You know,
Right.
it doesn't get used, so it doesn't make sense.
Speaking with Zeb, our fleet and operations manager, he would actually be a proponent of selling trading in the 2016 truck in 2 years, if the truck arrives in 2026. Obviously, it would be 10 years old by that point, but more importantly to him, that's the one truck that has a New Way brand Packer body. The other three have Labrie bodies. The Labrie's, aside from parts consistency and the ability to work on the same type of body, the manufacturer's not been as responsive as we would like on the New Way end, so parts are always an issue. We wait quite a long time, whereas the Labrie's have been very responsive. So he would actually prefer to get rid of the second oldest truck anyway, which may dovetail in, but that would then keep us on track with the replacement. So a couple different ways to
I think
go
when it
with
comes down to
it.
CIP, we'll have to take a look at what that looks like. And keep that in the back of our mind.
Right.
Another question is, I only see 3 interceptors in here, and that's normally what we change in a year, but you decided to keep a pickup truck and get rid of an interceptor, so it should be 4 interceptors in here, or a pickup truck.
So I'd have to go back and look at the fall municipal because we sold a few surplus PD vehicles then as well. For us, it's not a change in fleet size, I guess is the short answer, but I'd have to go back and look and see what we sold and if those were, because I believe one of the PD vehicles was unmarked, unfit up, so it was a quick cycle. Once it was delivered, it didn't have to go get the full upfit.
I
So,
want to be assured in the last 4 years, we haven't grown our fleet with used vehicles.
right. So a couple things have happened. We've shrunk the DPW fleet by 2 officially. We had a green SUV that made its way to Town Hall. We had purchased that, and that was actually not a surplus vehicle, but it was a purchased vehicle. We had traded that for a surplus vehicle, so we lost one official, town, this is on the replacement cycle vehicle when we did that, and used a surplus PD vehicle to replace it. But the other thing that happened was the sewer commissioners, when they broke off, they had been the last to purchase outright the pickup truck that we had, over time, each entity had purchased the replacement in a rotating cycle. When the sewer commissioners broke their employees free, they took that truck with them, so we lost another truck there. So we actually have fewer than we had this time, 4 years ago or whenever, prior to the sewer commissioners breaking off. So that's kind of where we're at. The off-going surplus truck from the fire department is in better shape than a couple of the police interceptors. They do have more mileage, but also, as the chief's kind of keen to say during the CIP process, with the PD, you also have to take into account the hours because they have so many idle hours on the engines that 130,000 mile 2015 really should probably could call it a 200,000 mile car because it's had so many idle hours on it. So we have that piece. We've had some transmission issues with a lot of those Fords. So decision was made on the pickup. It's a better vehicle now, and probably for our operation better to have the flexibility of a pickup versus an SUV. If it's a close
I
call.
understand, but we made it
Yep.
pretty clear to the fire chief he couldn't keep that vehicle, that they had to get rid of it, and you kept it. So, I mean, it's kind of like, wait a minute, we said we were getting rid of it, and then he goes to you and says, I'm gonna keep it. Wasn't what I was expecting, let's put it that way.
I think
When we said we're gonna get rid of something, we thought we were getting rid of something, and then
So how we normally handle it, and maybe you guys want to be more hands-on with it on the surplus end. If another department's got a frontline vehicle, DPW is usually tasked with getting those prepped for sale or replace another surplus vehicle. So in the past, we've had the Dare truck, another fire pickup truck that have cycled through, and then if they're the worst of the worst or part of the worst list, they go when it's time for them to go. So
So what we need to do, or what the department heads need to do, when they go to CIP, they need to let CIP know that this vehicle is gonna go to DPW to be reviewed or looked at, to be kept or gotten rid of. Instead of we tell them, we go there, we tell them, well, no, we gotta get rid of this truck, it's falling apart, it's no good. And then it goes to you and you keep it, you know what I'm saying? We need to let CIP know that it may not be going, it just doesn't fit that department's future.
right. Once, especially emergency services vehicles, come from a frontline vehicle for police or fire is a lot different than a surplus level vehicle for us, you know. I guess.
So
that's
there's
the
a
best way to put it.
recommendation here, so where you wanna, Mark, go ahead.
I got a couple of questions for
No,
you.
go ahead, I'm sorry.
On number 7, the trailer,
Yes.
if we don't sell it, are we gonna scrap it, put it in the metal box and send it away?
I think we probably would have to. The problem is I don't have a budgeted, like a storage trailer. So we do need something that
Yeah.
can
And that's what I'm
house
saying,
those. So
only if it doesn't go, we're gonna slide the other one over. We'll have this as an extra, correct?
if this, I'm sorry, if this doesn't sell, we would scrap it. It's
Okay, yeah.
it's kind of a safety hazard. It isn't
Yeah.
kind of, it is a safety hazard. The floor is
Not
starting to go.
structurally sound, right?
It's
Yeah,
it's
I
a
would-
little
yeah.
scary.
Heavy snow load.
What else you got, Mark?
Right.
I remember a long time ago, we used to do oil sampling. Are we still doing oil sampling? And if we are or are not, would the fact that we did oil sampling or are doing it, would it have saved this engine?
Tough to say. We did not, we are not, I guess to answer the first
Okay.
question, we are not currently oil sampling, primarily because for the, whatever, I kind of inherited that, it was already going on. We had a few years since I've been here that we were doing it. We never received any abnormal returns on anything, and still had engine failures. So I think 328 or 331, one of the solid waste, the oldest of the solid waste tractors, which is 328, has had 2 engines now, and both of those engine repairs were done while we were actively sampling, and there was nothing abnormal coming back. It was kind of like, why are we,
Was it expensive?
at the oil sample? I mean, not terribly expensive, but it was kind of like, if we're gonna have an engine failure and no abnormal,
Okay.
why are we doing it? A couple $100, as I recall, per round. I'd have to refresh myself, I don't remember how many, if we were doing monthly, for everything, or,
Anything else, Mark?
I'd like to see us go back to oil sampling. I mean, we can have a catastrophic failure and have it happen, but if there's something that's going wrong with the engine, this will be the telltale sign to say, hey, let's take a look at it and let's see what's wrong. I mean,
We can have that discussion for another day, I think.
okay, all right. I mean,
yeah, I can bring that for a future meeting, kind of the
Check it
cost
out, get some
of.
numbers, and we'll take
I
a
mean,
look at it.
not only highway, fire, police,
Yeah.
everybody,
Carlos, you got any questions?
No, I'm good, thank you.
all right.
Jim?
Thank you.
Motion?
Recommend authorizing the Department of Public Works to auction surplus vehicles and equipment on the municipal platform as presented.
This will be a roll call vote. Kelly?
yes,
Yes,
Yes.
Yes,
Second, and yes.
So, Selectman Craig seconded that. Okay.
And everybody did. Next.
Okay, thank you. Next one up, we've got DPW vendors for 2024 memo. We've got a few multi-year agreements that are running out or have already run out, as noted here on the packet, 4 in particular. Asphalt paving, we're coming out of a long-term agreement with Continental Paving that we had extended 2 years in a row. The first time was a whole pricing, I think, and the second was you had given me the guidance that if we could keep them under a 10% increase, we could extend to 23, so we did that. The only thing we've got left with them is when they finish up Holly Street, we're gonna owe them some money for that project. But we do need to go out to bid. It's been a few years now since we've done that. Similar to years past, I'd like to base it on a liquid asphalt floating, floating rate, so we can get the best pricing at the time. Aggregate crushing, I don't believe it was the last meeting, but the meeting before, we're coming out of that contract. You gave me the authorization, if they can come in and get to town before, the end of March, we can have them crush here in the spring, but this would be for the rest of the year for the fall. Bigfoot Crushing has been our vendor there for a few years. On-call and engineering, that's slightly different. We've used a qualifications-based selection process in the past, not a cost-based, and that's sort of a recommended way to handle professional engineering or professional surveying, where you're really worried about the credentials of the firms that you're selecting, the fit with the town, that sort of thing. We've had pretty good luck. We've done this, I think, 3 times now, at least twice. 16 and 19 are the most recent. Our current on-call engineers firms are Hoyle Tanner Associates, Quantum Construction, which is now part of H.L. Turner, and Vanassing and Brusselner VHB. We've got a couple open projects, so the idea would be we'd continue with them until those projects are done. Nothing huge, but start the process to reselect. Alternatively, if the board's willing to do this, we're very happy with all 3, and they've kind of got their own little niches. So if you don't want to rock the boat on the on-call engineering, it wouldn't break my heart. The only caveat to that, though, is if we get into a federal grant project type situation, normally they want to see the process that was used to line up those. If we start talking about a 5-year-old process, I think it probably doesn't hold a lot of water. So as much as I hate to, I think my recommendation, even if you wanted to hang on to these 3, would be go through the process again. Hopefully, if the 3 that we've been happy with make us just as happy as part of the process, we'll continue with them or extend, I guess, new contracts. But I think just to be able to be ready if we do get a grant project down the road, we ought to go back out with that process. And then the last one is roadside mowing and street sweeping, both held by Talco Enterprises. They're also in a multi-year. They have not been extended as much as the others, and we've been very happy with them. They did give us a bid that they would hold their 2023 rates, which I would like to jump on that one in particular. Go out to bid for the others, but if we can extend Talco, that'd be good. Especially we found with roadside mowing and pond mowing, there aren't a lot of vendors available for this, and unless you can get to them early in the season and say this is exactly what to expect and how many miles of road and how many ponds in particular, because those are kind of
Anybody got any
a
questions?
time suck.
Just a clarification, Adam, if I could. It says after completion of current open projects, is that for all 3 of the firms, or is it specific to VHB?
Oh, I'm sorry, that would be for all 3 firms.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we
Can I ask a question?
go ahead.
So, sorry, Adam, you sound a little muffled, but I think it's just me. So are all of these going out to bid? We're rebidding for all of these services? Or like RFP, we're going out to see what rates are?
Yes. Yep, my recommendation would be to do that for asphalt, paving, aggregate crushing, use the qualifications-based selection, but bid that publicly for on-call engineering. And then my recommendation is to extend the mowing and street sweeping as he's holding pricing from last year.
All set, Kelly?
Yeah, I'm just reading on that telco. So when we'll have written contracts for that?
Yes, I can do a standard contract if you like. Usually it's, we use our bid specifications as a contract, but if we're going to extend, I'll have them re-sign it.
Okay, yeah, I just know with the price fluctuations, we've been going out to rebid for stuff, so I just want to make sure we're doing that and getting stuff in contracts if possible.
So we'll start with, there's 2 motions here. Let's start with the motion, the first motion.
I'll make a motion to authorize the DPW director to extend the agreements with Telco Enterprise for roadside mowing and street sweeping for an additional year.
Second.
Motion by Mark, seconded by Collis. Any discussion? Kelly, you all set?
Yes,
Okay,
Yes.
call for the vote. Yes.
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 Okay, second motion?
I move to authorize the DPW director to advertise for bids for asphalt paving, aggregate crushing, and on-call engineering.
Second.
Motion by Jim, seconded by Collis. Any discussion? Questions? Seeing none, roll call. Kelly?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
that's it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Derek, you want to finish up?
Yes, I had left off, the next item we had was NHMA Legal Services. They had sent out a request for a designated point of contact designee. A few years ago, you had changed it so that you would designate both the town administrator and the assistant town administrator as authorized point of contacts. So in your packet, you have the request from NHMA Legal as well as the draft letter that would authorize the town administrator and assistant town administrator.
Does it work?
What's that?
It's worked, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there any reason you can see it's a change?
No.
Motion?
I'll make a motion, we'll allow the system to stay in place to allow Derek Horn and Danielle as the point of contact for the town.
No. Only reason why I say no, I would rather you say the town administrator and the assistant town administrator.
Assistant town administrator.
The authorized, New Hampshire meeting, and authorize the select board chair to sign.
Yep.
I'll second that.
Any discussion, questions? Seeing none, call for the vote. Kelly?
Yes.
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 Motion passes.
After that, you have a request from the Parks and Rec Department. They are requesting a slight increase to two of their fees. They are requesting that the select board hold a public hearing at your next meeting to consider an increase from $80 a week to $85 a week for the summer playground camp, and then to increase youth basketball fees. This would be $60 from $60 for resident to $70, and then
That's got screwed up in there.
yeah, it did. So 60 to, it'd be a $5 increase. $60 for resident to $65, and $70 for non-resident to $75 for non-resident. Again, a public hearing is required. Department heads are looking at other fees, so we will have those for you at another point in the spring.
Any discussion, questions? Motion?
I'll make a motion to schedule a public hearing on Monday, the 26th, is that the correct date?
Yes.
At 6:30 PM for the purpose of amending the master fee schedule for 2 parks and recreation programs discussed.
Second.
Motion by Mark, seconded by Jim. Any discussion, questions? Seeing none, we'll call for the vote. Kelly?
Yes.
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 Motion passes.
And I think the final item I have for you is on Friday, I emailed a copy of the voter's guide, and we also printed one copy that was in the select board meeting room. Does the board want to make any changes before sending out for printing? We expect to get the school's content Wednesday or Thursday of this week.
All go out together.
Yes, it all goes out to one. We have it all printed out, and then Catherine figures out the different postal routes, how many we actually have to send out.
I reviewed it, I didn't see any issues, I'm fine with it.
I'm good. Me too.
Yep. Fine.
You need a motion?
Yes, motion would be a request to approve the voter's guide as presented.
Motion to request the
No,
approval
the motion to approve the voter's
of
guide.
voters guide
As
as
presented.
presented.
Second.
Motion by Mark, seconded by Jim. Any discussion, questions? Roll call vote. Kelly?
Yes.
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 Anything else?
No.
I have, I sent an email out about taking a look at Shirley Hill.
So you're under new business at this point?
Yeah, I'm in the new business, I'm sorry. When is the next highway safety meeting?
March,
It's usually the second, I think it's the second Wednesday in March, or the first Wednesday in March, but yes, it would be coming up in March. The police chief did indicate by email today that Highway Safety Committee is going to look at the Shirley Hill Road in the area of John King Drive, and I know there were some changes made to the location of the poles last fall, but that is going to be one of the focuses of that March meeting, to bring a recommendation back to the select board.
So they're gonna go out and do a site inspection?
I don't know, he's
Presumably.
been doing increased patrols in that area. He's also been collecting data on the speeds and everything.
Good.
So they're gonna take all that information back to the Highway Safety Committee to bring a recommendation forward as
So
well.
be data driven.
Yes.
Yeah. thank
We
you.
need to do something, we need to expedite, it's been like 3 accidents there in the last couple of months, and one of them was a fatality. Something needs to be done about that, I think we need to stay on top of it.
Okay.
Whether it's having more officers there running radar, and, hell, I'd start writing people up for 5 over just to slow them down.
I'll pass that along to the chief.
Yeah. Anybody else?
I have one item of new business I emailed to the board members. This was House Bill 1640, and I also printed out a copy for you as well.
Right.
This is the repeal of immunity protections for both state and local government. NHMA is urging all members to oppose this bill as it is currently written. They have a hearing in the House Judiciary Committee scheduled for Wednesday, February 14th.
And isn't this similar to one we had a few years ago?
Yes, it is.
And that went down in flames
It
too,
did,
right?
Yeah.
This one should too.
Huh?
This one should too.
Yes. Any discussion, recommendations?
I'll make the recommendation that we not be in favor of House Bill 1640, and do we need to send a letter along?
So the House has a pretty good, they have a website that you can actually go in and check in, and you click a box and say that you are either opposed, neutral, or speaking in favor of. So the last bill that I did, which was the, I'm trying to think which one I had you, there was a right to know one, and then there was one other, but I can do that on Wednesday. And
Wasn't it the one for copies?
yes, it was that one.
Yeah.
So that one I was able to just go in and I can say on behalf of the Goffstown Select Board. So I can do that.
So we check an opposition.
Yes, yep.
Okay.
And then one more thing.
I think
We got a
Go ahead.
we had a
Oh,
mo-
that's right.
I made the motion, we didn't get a second on it.
Second.
Jim seconded it. Any discussion? All in favor?
roll
Collie?
call.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
All right, one more thing. Have we received anything from any request about purchasing a dam?
Have we received any requests for purchasing a dam? No, the town hall has not. I know that,
But it was put-
I know that the legislation passed the House side last week, and I had forwarded you a copy of that news announcement, but it goes into crossover at this point over to the Senate side.
Because state rep says now it's in the hands of the select board. I'm not sure what that means.
Again, the House bill, I don't believe it's chaptered law yet, so at that point, once it becomes chaptered law, I'd bring that back to you and see what options are available.
Okay.
I think the implication was, if we were to purchase a dam, it would be up to this board to make the decision, which, that ain't ready for prime time in my eyes by a long shot.
So, when it comes before us, my comment was at this time, there was nothing before us
Right.
about buying a dam, so. All right, anything else on the new business? Let's go to the old business. Part of the number one was probably taken care of today with that signatures, right?
Yes,
Okay. Call us, you got a meeting on the 4th?
Yep.
yes, the chair of that ad hoc committee sent in the agenda over the weekend, so that's now up on the website. We'll be getting that out to members.
You gonna be there?
Yep.
We're waiting on the grant stuff, right?
Yeah, I checked that on Friday. That one is still under review, so we've got a pretty lengthy process.
And then we got, engine 2, has that been almost 95% complete? When do we expect to see that?
Again, hopefully this week.
And then tower, so we're waiting for a part, right?
Yeah, that's a couple more weeks out.
Okay. Adam, the excavator,
That's still out. That had been previously repaired and came back and immediately had problems, so it's back at
went
cap.
back out. Curbside truck, we just talked about. Well, spare side truck, and then the six-wheel dump, what's the story with that?
I think they got that roadworthy today
Okay.
in advance of the storm, so that one can be off.
Anybody got any questions?
Nope.
Comments? Derek, got anything else?
I don't have anything else. no.
Take a motion?
Make a motion.
You do usually have a second
sorry,
public
yeah.
comment.
Is there anybody here for public comment? Seeing none, we'll close the public comment and move on.
Make a motion to go into non-public session, RSA 91-A:3, 2, for D, land, C, adversely affect reputation. Anything else, or is that?
That's it.
Okay.
Second, somebody want a second?
Second.
Motion by Mark, seconded by Tim, roll call vote. Kelly?
Yes.
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 That'll conclude tonight's public portion of the February 12th Goffstown Select Board meeting. Thank you.